So let me start at the beginning with why I ran for the school board for the very first time in 1983 in Los Altos School District. And to understand that, you have to know a little bit about my background. I grew up in a working class neighborhood of South Philadelphia as the second generation American grandson of 4 immigrant peasants. They came to America precisely so that their children and their grandchildren could have a better chance at a good life than they had where they were. And that dream was realized for them. I became the first person in my family to go to college. If you had told me that I would be that at the end of my 8th grade education, I would have said, not much chance of it. But I then went to a great high school, had a good stroke of fortune to be selected for a special program. And out of 600 students, I was one of 60 selected for what was called the college-bound block. It was an age of selectivity based on tests. I did very well on the tests. As a result, I was in that program and received training and education over the next 4 years that motivated me and prepared me to take and compete for national level scholarships to excellent universities. I won one of those scholarships to Princeton, and that started a string of fellowships and scholarships that took me to Stanford and Oxford, from all of which I have received degrees, including a doctorate. That was the first step in getting from South Philadelphia to Silicon Valley. That's where it took me. I taught here at Stanford for a while, as I did postgraduate research in mathematical logic and computer science. As luck would have it, this was the birthplace of full-scale computer science after the age of the big machines. And so I was in the right place at the right time and launched a successful career as a computer scientist in Silicon Valley, having my own company. That led me to a great life here in Los Altos, in which my high school skills prepared me to get along well with a wide variety of people, to be a better parent, to know the value of community service, and to dedicate myself to having the students in our schools have all the chances that I had, all the great education that I had in their modern versions. And that has led to my vision. I would like to see all students who leave MVLA do so confident that they are intellectually, emotionally, and physically as robust as they can possibly be as a result of their education. To realize that ideal goal, there are several things that are necessary. We have to improve academic achievement for students at all levels of achievement right now. Take them wherever they are and get them higher. It is especially important for students who are not already at grade level that we have an accelerated approach. That means extra attention, extra resources. We do what it takes so that they get the extra boost and have full access to taking advantage of it. It also means that we have to face the fact that some of our regular courses are not as rigorous as they ought to be. That means we have to find a means of improving those regular courses. This has been in the works for several years. It's a very difficult problem because there are competing forces on each end, each with a valid case. You mentioned how I listen. I try to listen in these, and I keep trying to find a solution that works, as we're all trying to do. But as I say, it's difficult. So it's something that's in our program of continuous improvement and trying new things. The other thing we have to realize right now is that our students are under a great deal of stress, not just in the COVID-19 example, but also even leading up to it, as the work in high school has gotten more and more intensive, the competition for colleges has gotten more and more intensive. So that means we have to have more therapeutic interventions, more preventive measures embedded in our courses. And we have to do things like reduce the administrative stress on students to handle their cases. And we also have to look at the contribution racism makes to the stresses on campus and try to eliminate as much as we possibly can those vestiges of racism that exist. A third thing I hope to achieve, and that has been lacking, is a interactive, real-time dialogue regularly with parents about what's going on in the education of their children. That is something I'm still trying to work on, and we're making progress following the same model that we used on what turned out to be a much simpler problem of bringing field lights to the high schools. We achieved that despite a lot of contention, and we're at a point now of peaceful resolution. Finally, I decided that the most important thing right now is dealing with the learning loss that is inevitably caused by distance learning. And so those are the four big areas that I see that we need to deal with.